Okay, no daily quiz. Not going to go through anything because last time we all had the opportunity to work in class. A bunch of you were sharing your stuff up here. So here we go.
Oh boy.
Here's your review. I've been saying it all year. Not everyone's been taking me up on it. Remember, you have here a blueprint to how do I do the test. Tell yourself how to do the test. Tell yourself the steps for each problem. Tell yourself not just this is how the problem is done as an example, but also tell yourself what to do, what to look out for. Highlight things in the directions so you don't forget half of the problem. You get to tell yourself how to do perfect. Then it's just a matter of following through. So, starting off with, if I give you a graph, can you write slope-intercept form of that thing? So what is slope-intercept form?
Y equals mx plus 2.
Okay.
I got it first.
Okay. Now, if you also want to write next to there, because we tend to goof this up, remember rise, run, like that. X plus, how do I start? And if you need to put that as 0, comma b. Okay. I really like this because if I am forcing myself to always go to the right, the plus or minus determines whether I am headed up or down. So go find your y-intercept. Put a dot on where does this thing hit the y-axis. Right there. What is that as a number?
Y-intercept, that would be 6.
It's right above 4. Isn't that 5?
No, I go back to
Okay. So what's a note that I should put next to this? Check your graph scale. Check the scale. We have gotten wrecked by that scale so many times. Put a note on there to watch your scale. What are the boxes going by? So if that is going by 2s, this is at 6. I know I've got an x. Now I just need my slope. So can you find another nice intersection that this thing goes through? Where there'd be an actual dot, a point. Okay, I see one here and here. So make your little triangle. We will always run and then jump. So from here to here, I run and then jump. Well, in this case, I run and then fall down. Okay, so we went to the right, 6, right? It's 3 boxes, but look at your scale. 2, 4, 6. And then down 2. So tell yourself that. Put this on there. So if it's down to right 6, positive or negative? Negative. Do you need to put good old Mr. Slope guy on there? You need him? A positive slope, a negative slope, an undefined slope, 0 slope. Someone has to have shown you Mr. Slope guy before. Okay. I remember watching Mrs. Work like print and laminate and cut out about 5,000 of those things to hand out to students. She was in the teacher's lounge for like 2 days just cutting. Okay, so if it's going downward this way, then it better be a negative number. So I know it's negative. Cool. I know it's a fraction. Cool. Can you reduce 2 over 6. What do they have in common as a factor?
2.
So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And because it was downward, I put a negative on it. So I will say negative 1/3 x plus 6. These are all notes. Okay, when you turn in your review, and I see that your review only has that blue thing and nothing else, I mean, you're giving up so much. You can tell yourself how to do it, so tell yourself how. All right? Round 2 is going to be, can you graph them? Now, the first one I think will be okay. There we go. So I start at 2, and my slope is 1/5. Because it's negative, that tells me that I will go right and down. So from that point, down 1, right 5. Down 1, right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What else could I do?
Up 1.
Tell yourself that. Use the arrows. Okay, up 1, right 5. Solid or dotted line. There is a good number of us that on these type of problems last time around, we just made the line and then moved on. We didn't do any shading. We didn't do any solid or dotted, nothing. So maybe you put that note on there. Tell yourself that this is solid and this is dotted. Tell yourself that. Okay, it is a solid line. So connect the dots. Straight edge is best. And which way do I shade? Remember, there's 2 ways to figure it out. Okay. Option 1. Y is greater than the line. So just go above the line. Option 2 is you plug a 0, 0 in there, some really nice, easy to work with point, and I get 0 is greater than or equal to 2. Well, that's not true. So if 0 is not greater than or equal to 2, then that means 0 is not an answer. So nothing on that side is an answer. So you shade the other way. Y'all, last time, the number of you that decided you were just going to put a point at -6 and 8 and call it good. No. This doesn't look like we're used to. So make it look like you're used to. I'll tell you that's exactly how I made your test. You're going to have one that's in slope-intercept form and one that isn't. So tell yourself, put it in slope-intercept. Get y by itself. Give yourself those directions. Get y by itself. So, if I got to get y by itself, who's got to go away? That's 6x. It says minus 6x right now. So I'll add 6x. Curious. Okay, we'll put the Paxton line on there. Are 6x and -24 the same kind of critter? So if they're not, don't put them together. Don't say -18x. They're not the same kind of critter, so don't write them together. Instead, 8y is greater than 6x minus 24. Just leave it like that. Divide what by 8? Everybody. Remember, math is communist. What you do for one, you do for all. So you divide by 8, and you divide by 8, you divide by 8. Mathematical Oprah. Everyone gets a car. So I get y. Do I flip the inequality? Why not?
You can divide by a negative,
But I divided a negative.
but the y isn't a negative.
I'm not dividing by a negative. Okay? So I keep it this way. Negative 24 divided by 8 is negative 3, but what about that 6 over 8? They can reduce. What do they? Ew. Reduce. Reduce. What is 6 and 8 with common factors?
48.
No, that's if I multiply it. They have a 2 in common. What's 6 divided by 2?
6 divided by 2 is 3.
What's 8 divided by 2? Okay, now I'm in business. So start at negative 3. If you have a slope of 3/4, always to the right, it's positive. Tell yourself go up. Up 3, right 4. Up 3, right crud. Now what?
Oh no. Down 3.
Down ooh.
Oh. You better scale your graph.
Are you okay with just a little bit off-road?
No, it's better than scaling.
Okay. If you don't like doing that one off-road, you're going to have to change your scale, which means you'll also have to change your other line. I'm usually okay with 1 unit off-road. 2, it's a little sketchy. 3 boxes, no, don't do that. Okay. Solid or dotted line?
Dotted. Let's see there. Let's see there.
Okay.
Good job, Micah.
Dot was in the wrong spot. So I connect the dots. Solid or dotted, you said? Dotted. So okay. Again, this says y is greater than the line. So above the line. Or if I put 0, 0 in there, I get 0 is greater than negative 3. Is that true? Being flat broke is better than owing someone money?
No.
Yep. So if that is a solution, it's a solution for everything to that line. You shade on that side. And all of my little cute arrows here are pointing where? Okay. That top section. What's some other notes that you could write on here? What's stuff that we tend to goof up? Things that will help us remember what to do.
We should put the guy on there.
Your slope guy?
Yeah, the slope guy.
Okay. Whether it's a positive or negative slope, so I know my line's going in the right direction. The more ink here, more ink there might not be a bad thing.
Divide by 2, you can't divide.
Okay.
I gotta think here.
If you are using the bumblebees for a calculator, if you use alpha y equals enter, that gets you a fraction. And if you do that, and you have no idea how to reduce something, you can always just type 6/8, hit enter, and it'll reduce it for you. Okay. Even Kai's calculator, that's like an $8 Walmart special. Love those things. It comes out kind of goofy, right? How it writes your fractions. It'll write it as like 3, 4 like that. Or no, that's for the whole number. So it's like 3, 4, but if it's 2 3/4, then it uses that?
It does, if it's like a whole number and then a fraction, it'd be like 3 and then that thing and then
Okay.
4 underscore 3.
You got to know the calculator you're using, right? You have to be familiar with it. Okay, down at the bottom. These are the does of math, and we still had trouble with them. Where did we write our magic notes? Where did we tell ourselves? X equals number looks like what? Vertical line. Tell yourself that. X equals number is a vertical line. So what's Y equals number? Horizontal. Do you need to tell yourself dotted line, solid line? And then it's just a matter of where are the X's or Y's, left or right, up or down. So I get a vertical line at -4, and it's dotted. What does that say? X is what then -4? Less than. Where are the X's less than, left or right? Because -5 is less than -4. So you shade everything on that side. Y is greater than or equal to -1. Solid line, horizontal at -1. And Y's are bigger than -1. Well, 0's bigger than -1. 1's bigger than -1. 5's bigger than -1. So it's everything on that side. Okay. So this is a direct, like I didn't change anything. I brought these back from your last test and I just changed the numbers and the signs on them. It's the same type of problem in the same spot. So that's all review. That's all stuff that we did a month ago, but we just needed extra practice with it because we were kind of struggling. Backside, okay, now that's the new stuff. That's 3.5, 3.6, and 3.7. 3.5, graph quadratics, tell me the stuff. X squared plus 2. So right next to this, you should have X, Y. What numbers should I choose?
You should choose 1.
No, there is a special set of numbers that we like to use with these. There you go. -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay? We really like those because they're right smack in the middle of the graph. I might not even be able to see these. Some of them might run off the map, and that's okay, but this will at least show me what's going on in the middle. Your calculator. Please do it right. You should be using parentheses, whatever number you're doing, parentheses squared plus 2. Why do I see half the class without a calculator by them?
Oh my god. What is this? No, what is? What kind of math is this?
That's nothing. Hit graph.
Hey, a fully charged battery. Actually, crazy. They blew a whole graph out of all that. How?
Okay,
Much to learn you have, young Padawan.
Okay, I am scared of the future now. Thank you for torturing me.
Okay, everyone got a calculator with them.
I know. I'll go for it. I'm scared of the future. Thank you very much.
Start typing, fill in this table.
Played that person's hard work. I feel bad.
Start typing, fill in the table. Use parentheses. Use parentheses. Right? I want you to pay attention to the directions. They say, use a table to graph. What's going to happen if you just put 1 point on here and wing it?
Not very well.
You don't have the table to back it up, and your graph is wrong. Okay? Please, oh please, use the table. That's how we did it in section 3.5. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to put 3.5 next to this so you know what section of your notes to go look back at. It's what it should come out as. Make sure you're actually getting that. You go. Use those parentheses. Parentheses, parentheses, parentheses. How many times have I said parentheses in the last 2 minutes? Maybe it'd be a good idea to write the parentheses on next to your problem. Okay. And then go make some dots. Now, unfortunately, these ones are off-road. I told you if they're 1 box off-road, I'm actually okay with doing it personally. Connect the dots, and remember, we try to keep these curvy. Beyonce, not Amanda Seyfried. Okay. Okay. Now, Landon brings up a really good point. I left mine going by 1s. What happens if I went by 2s? Now, this is right here. Oh, you're not going to let me do that, are you? Now I would have 2, 3, 6, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, half a box off road. So it would just look a little wider. Okay. So however you do it, if you do that, please make sure you actually label it. Don't just go by 2s but never write it. How many times have you walked in on a conversation and it just sounds wrong? Then you find out they're talking about shoe sizes or something. Okay? Okay, just walked in, we were talking about, just guzzle that down, just inhaled it. And he's like, wait, what? We're talking about a 2-year-old drinking protein shakes. Okay? Okay, that definitely changes things. I want to bring up, what if this was... Okay, I'm gonna put this back. Okay, so if I brought this back, we got to answer the questions. We got to answer the questions. We got to answer the questions. Don't forget to answer the questions. So the zeros. What are zeros?
When the line touches the
But none of them are touching you.
So if it says find the zeros and it never hits the x-axis, these are x-intercepts and there are none in this case. Maximum or minimum, if you remember how we said that, this has a minimum because it's the lowest point on the graph. I'd say a minimum of 2 at x equals 0 because this is the point 0, 2. The lowest the y's ever go is 2, and it happens when I press the x equals 0 button.
Could you just put 0 instead of x equals 0? Or...
I would like to put at x equals 0 because then I'm really differentiating which is the x and which is the y. Also, later in math, we can turn these things on their sides.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay, so say for example that was -2 instead. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. The minimum would be -2 at x equals 0. My zeros, it didn't hit a nice point, so you'd have to ballpark them. You'd just say at about where and where. Yeah? What are they used for? We actually have a specific model called vertical motion model, where you say where something leaves the ground in upward trajectory and where it lands, where the height of it is. You ever done the rockets, like the water rockets, where you pump them up and poof, off they go?
Or the airplane.
My Algebra 2 class years ago, it's not, COVID's still a thing, so we're not doing it right now. I might still have them in the closet. We would go down to the gym with marshmallow shooters. PVC marshmallow shooters. And we would have them measure their height when they fired. We'd have someone else measure how high up it went and then where it landed.
How do you measure how high it went?
Because you have a scale on the wall. And then I just let them run around the gym and shoot each other with marshmallows. But we would do that, and those 3 points can be used in a quadratic regression model with 3 variable systems. You can do all kinds of stuff with these. This is just, you're at the tip of the iceberg. Quadratics are used very frequently to deal with falling objects. Okay? But just remember, please remember, underline, big neon highlighter, whatever you need to do, please answer the questions. Don't just graph it. Tell me the zeros. Tell me the minimum or maximum. Okay? After that, we talked about transformations. There were 3 types of graphs that we've worked with. There were lines. Parent graph is just plain old y equals x. And we never really did any left or right with those. It was just y equals x plus k or minus k. If it was y equals x squared, I should have moved that down. Okay, those were parabolas. They come from quadratics. And those looked like that. You remember that grouped inside the parentheses is bass-ackwards land? So if you need to make a note to yourself that if it says plus, you go left. If it says minus, you go right. It's bass-ackwards land. Think about if you're saving up money, you got a line on a PS5, you're actually going to be able to buy one. But it's like, what are they now, like 500, 600?
Yeah. If you
Okay.
want to buy them for retail, if you want to be guaranteed, it's like thousands.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I like that the Series S was $300.
So
I like that.
let's say you're going to go with the middle of the road one at around 500. Okay. If I want to buy something that costs 500 and then my money gets $100 added to it, it's your birthday. You get a check from Grandpa.
Yay.
Doesn't that bring your target closer?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because you now have more money. You're going to get there faster. So that's why if I say x plus 5, I actually go this way 5. Because it brings your target closer. And k is my vertical translations. That's just moving it up or down. Okay, so we got lines and we got parabolas. Absolute values next. We'll do that next. We also had a cheater chart for this, remember? If something was in the parentheses, if it's positive or negative, if it's inside or outside, if it's positive in, you go left. If it's negative in, you go right. If it's positive out, you go up. Negative out, you go down. That little cheater chart was so handy. Because then you're not even thinking. If I say, what transformations happen to this? There were 2 of them, and they're listed right there in that chart. They're also over here. You would say, my parent function was y equals x squared. And what are the 2 things that happened to it?
You left 5. I mean right 5.
Which is it?
Right.
You sure?
Yes. Right 5.
Can't see who's sure.
Right? Are we going left or are we going right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay. We're going to shift right 5. And a positive in the K spot. Positive outside means go up 6. So that purple stuff, that's really all you need to write. If that's all you have, then we're good. The rest of it is just notes to help us. But again, those notes, if you get to tell yourself how to do the test, boy, that'd be handy. Every now and then you're going to get that teacher who just says, no notes, no nothing. Here's a piece of paper, figure it out.
That is awful.
Okay, you get those grumpy math professors in college that say you only get 3 things that go in the grade book all year.
Ooh.
Your midterm, your second midterm, your final. They're worth 25, 25, 50. No notes, learn stuff. Now that's pretty old school. Even nowadays, I don't know too many college professors who would do that to you, but you'll still hear it. Well, you got, isn't the elder one, Cade, isn't he in? Do you get horror stories every now and then?
One day for the last 2 months.
Yep. I had a math professor who said when the window closed on your online submissions, you are done. I don't care what happened in your life, you are done. I was running a group home at the time. Kid went to jail. I'm doing late night incident reports, trying to get the next staff online. I'm doing all kinds of stuff, getting that ready. I don't even go home. I sat there and did my assignment, so I didn't have to waste time commuting. And I was 2 minutes late on submission. He says, get your priorities right. Okay? Sometimes you get people like that. Please use this. Please use the notes. This isn't just an underhanded pitch. This is T-ball. Okay? It's right there in front of you. You just got to not miss.
I could still miss.
You that guy that just like cracks the pipe underneath it and it just falls down?
When I did UT.
Okay? This one's going to be the same, except now an absolute value starts as this. And then I do that same stuff to it, where I'm going to put h here and k here, and they're going to do the same thing they did with parabolas. If it's positive, we go left. If it's negative, we go right. If it's positive, we go up. If it's negative, we go down. If you need to make that cheater chart, you make the cheater chart. If we are inside the absolute value, we have positive and negative, inside, outside. It's still left, right, up, down. That cheater chart works the same whether it's parentheses for a quadratic or absolute value or I do stuff with pre-calc. They're starting their trig functions this week. And these transformations, this up, down, right, left, we're still doing it 4 or 5 classes later. Okay. All right, so where do I start?
So
Where's the vertex, the V point going to be?
we start at 0, 0, and then since it's +1 outside, we go up 1.
And
then since we have a +3 on the inside of the brackets, we go left 3.
so up 1, left 3, I'm going to go whoop, whoop, right there. That's the vertex. That's the bottom of that pointy V. And then
we do up 1 over 1.
the slope on the right-hand side is going to be up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1.
And then up 1 left 1 there.
Right? We don't keep going further down for a line. It's a V. So we'll go up 1, left 1. Connect the dots. Whether it looks like a V or a check mark just depends on how much of the graph we see. Notice it just says graph it using transformations. So the things that I'm looking for are, is your vertex at the right X and the right Y? Do you have the correct slope on that side? Did you mirror it to this side? And then I'm going to hold 1 in place for just, did you whoopsie something? Did you accidentally go down 1 too far before making the rest of your V? Okay? What other notes can we write? What else can you tell yourself?
Make sure to mirror the left side.
Mirror the left side. It's a V, not a line. Tell yourself that. I've been screaming at you for like 6 months now. Please use the review. Use the review, write the notes down, tell yourself what to do. I want, by the end of this semester, you should not be walking out of here with anything less than a C. Right now we got everyone passing. We're headed in the right direction. And you're going to have a boatload of time here to work on these 6 problems. What do you do when you're done?
Just be quiet and everything. Find something productive.
Something semi-productive. And when I say semi-productive, you know what? Productive might be take a nap because you got everything done. God knows it's forwards and backwards. Okay. Probably did this problem about 10 minutes ago. Y'all good? Let's do it. Phone's over there.